Gray is just under 5, and I
That's not
mean,
good.
yeah, I'd be pretty frustrated if that was the deal that I made. And I, if the Red Sox were in the market for a starting pitcher last year, I wouldn't have wanted him. And a year or two before, I probably would have sold my mother for him. So I just, I had my concerns, and you didn't give up a ton for him because, like you said, they were either injured or blocked, and so I don't think you guys hurt yourself that way, but I don't know that you got a lot of value from a performance standpoint. And I'm looking at Tanaka's numbers. He looks like he's up and down, and that could be
Yeah, yeah.
with his age. And CC's kind of come back to earth a little bit. Um, Another thing too, I said at the start of the season, I said Luis Severino might be the best pitcher in the division, and I'm gonna say right now in early June he is the best pitcher in the division at this point. And
He is hands down.
yeah, I don't see that changing at any point. I mean, even if Sale catches fire, if I had to choose one for the next 5 years, I would take Severino every time at this
And,
point.
and what's so impressive about Severino, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Yankee fan, because I'm a realist. If I see something that's honest, I'm going to say it. But Severino reminds me so much of Bob Gibson because the way Gibson pitched, he would throw inside. He was able to keep his velocity deep into games, and he never showed, he was fearful of anybody. He actually made people fear him. And Severino does that same exact thing. He holds that 99 through a complete game, or at least through, his remaining start, 6, 7, 8 innings. He has the ability to throw inside or make it uncomfortable, and then he drops that wipeout slider on the back door, and they don't touch him. He's getting better every year, and I think that's what should worry teams is that he's just starting to figure out that he can throw his changeup for strikes. Where last year I think it was like 48% fastball, 30% slider, and then the changeup was the rest. Now he's starting to mix in the changeup for strikes. That should worry teams because if he has all three on, it would not shock me if one day he throws a no-hitter.
No, he's unbelievable, and like you said, he throws strikes. He just throws strikes. He attacks you, and he puts you on the defense because of how hard he throws it, accurately he throws. He's a great pitcher, and I got him as a Cy Young vote for sure in the AL. Top 3 he's got to be, right? He has to be.
He has to be. I mean, for crying out loud, he says, "Here's my fastball. Touch it. See, here you go. Touch this 99 on the corner." Boom.
I mean, he's 9-1.
Yeah.
Records, whatever. It doesn't really, but it helps though. 102 strikeouts, a 2.2 ERA, and a .93 WHIP.
And what's sad is that the Yankees only have him as a reliable starter. Tanaka isn't. Gray isn't. CC will give you 5, but he's not your number 2. And then Montgomery, who maybe could have been at worst a number 3 if one of the two, either Tanaka or Gray, didn't turn out to be what they are on the back of their baseball card. Now he's injured, and like you mentioned before we came on the podcast, we're definitely going to have to go out and get one starter. It wouldn't shock me if we go out and get 2, because we can't rely on Tanaka and Gray consistently.
No,
we can't.
That stinks. I mean,
I know. It's
even
bad.
if Gray, and that's it. That's what separates. Somebody asked me, who's going to win the East? It's going to be the Sox, and it's because they actually have a pitching rotation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the Red Sox have the best rotation, even with Severino. Severino can't do it by himself. I think if we're going to say, who has the best lineup, I think the Yankees, at least by a little bit, have a better one. Bullpen has to be the Yankees, but bar none, just by depth.
Bullpen's the Yankees. I think it's similar to the lineups where you can say power-wise it's the Yankees, but depth it's probably the Red Sox, I'd say.
Yep, and speed. You guys have a lot of speed too.
Yeah, we have way more speed. You guys are slugs in the base path.
Yeah, they're base to base.
Yeah, and then in the bullpen, you definitely have the depth in the bullpen, right? But I take Kimbrel over Chapman any day of the week.
I will say this. At least Chapman was able to close games in the World Series. Kimbrel can't come in the 8th inning and close a freaking game out. At least
true.
Chapman did that in the World Series 3 times.
He did do that, but he sold his soul for that and his arm, and he will not.
That's
do that.
okay. He has a World Series ring. Does Kimbrel have a World Series ring?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
So will he get a World Series ring with the Yankees? That's what you should be worrying about.
Well, I think the playoffs and the postseason are two different animals. I think to Dave's point, I'm fine with Kimbrel, helping us get there maybe a little bit more effectively. But if we're talking in the month of October, I'm on your side, Chris, and I'll take the guy who's done it. But yeah,
I just think it hurts the Red Sox. And Dave, you make a great point about Kimbrel. You really do. I just think it hurts, and it doesn't. If you're going to pitch, because obviously in the postseason, those are do or die games. So you have to be ready for the 4th inning, the 5th inning, the 8th inning. However, yeah, and Kimbrel has shown time in and time out that if it's not the 9th inning, he struggles. And even if it is the 9th inning, the pressure sometimes gets to him too much. And if you're the Red Sox, you can't feel comfortable with a guy like that who is so wishy-washy when the pressure's on him.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me a clean inning of Kimbrel in the 9th in the playoffs, I'm going to be confident, especially this year. But like you said, if it's an 8th, or if it's say Sale's going into the 9th and a runner gets on, and then all right, we're bringing Kimbrel in, I'm not as confident, 100%, because he's shown time and time again that he is very inconsistent with runners on or coming in the 8th. Absolutely, this year he's been pretty lights out, and I think he will do all right in the playoffs in a clean inning. But if he has to pull a Chapman in the Cubs, I am crossing my fingers holding my breath.
Yeah,
it is, and Chapman did prove it 100%. I think he's done now. I think that arm it's coming, and I think Chapman, he's a dog. He doesn't care about anything. So I don't know how much he's going to help you out in the playoffs. If you make it to the World Series, coming in the 7th, the 8th inning again, I don't know if his arm can handle it. We'll see. But yeah, the Red Sox and Yankees have. It's funny how close they are, and then what hurts them helps the other. It's really weird.
Yeah, I definitely would lean towards the Yankees in terms of offense, especially with the bottom part of their order. It's just so much better than ours, and the bullpen I feel like is a push. I think the Red Sox could find that combination that makes them dominant and lights out. In 2013, Koji didn't emerge until July, so I think Cora can kind of figure things out. We still, as you very humorously and appropriately said in the last episode, Dave, we don't know that Tyler Thornburg is a real person. We don't know if he exists.
Still have not figured that out. I haven't seen him yet.
That's funny.
Yeah, on what hurts my optimism is the guy I've had my eye on, Austin Maddox, just had a setback with some shoulder inflammation, so we don't know what he's gonna do, if anything, this year. So hopefully,
if you guys didn't make that trade, if you just kept Shaw, you could have packaged Devers and somebody else and maybe have gotten, I don't know, let's say like a bullpen arm or maybe another starter or maybe even a catcher like JT Realmuto, somebody like that.
All fair points.
It would be nice. You know who would be a nice and interesting and probably a little unrealistic trade target would be Kelvin Herrera, the closer for the Royals.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
Yeah,
he's open. He's open for sale.
He's open for sale. I don't know how much they want for him, and what we have is in a depleted, farm system.
I think you could get him because the Royals right now, he's a free agent after this year. The longer they keep him, the less value you're going to get back, a la Manny Machado, Zach Britton, all those guys. So if you're KC, I think you could flip him, and if you're the Red Sox, I think you could get him for a little bit less, in terms of prospect value because you're only going to have him for a couple months. And the KC wants to dump that salary. So the more money you guys eat, the less you have to give up in terms of prospects.
Oh, yeah, we'll eat it all. And I mean, and that.
So there you go.
if you get Herrera in the 8th and you get Kimbrel in the 9th, that bullpen's loaded.
Yeah, and I think that is semi-realistic as well. So we'll see if there's any dialogue there. But like I said, I'm not the biggest pessimist about our pen. I do think internal solutions do exist. So we'll see how that turns out. Chris, going back to your rotation, what's the most realistic scenario in terms of acquiring help, and what's your dream scenario?
To be real with you, I think the only guy that I don't want pitcher. I know he's pitched over 200 innings, but he's so inconsistent. Plus, it's Tampa. They're not going to trade him to the Yankees. I don't even touch Fulmer because of his arm. I think he's a ticking time bomb. I think that arm is going to blow up eventually. Plus, he's had a bad year. The only guy that's on the market that I think could fit the Yankees and pitch in the ballpark and fit the demographic of pitching in big games, I think, is Cole Hamels, because he's pitched in Texas. He pitched in Philly. Both are bandboxes. And Yankee Stadium is no different. And he's managed to pitch to at least a semi-above-average level. And I think if you're the Yankees, you're at a point now where you have to win. And it's a World Series or bust. And this rotation, right now on paper, won't even get you by, in my opinion, the division series. Because you can't count on Tanaka to do what he did last year in the postseason when that came out of absolutely nowhere. So if you're the Yankees, you have to go out and get Cole Hamels, maybe get either a number 4 starter on someone else's team, try to bring him in, or in my opinion, bring up one of the kids if they're ready and see if they can maybe pitch to that spot. And you just never know. But the main thing for the Yankees, you have to go out and get somebody who could be a number 2 behind Sev. And Cole Hamels is that only guy.
Yeah, I picture him to be somewhat of a John Lackey type, pitcher, and especially with his presence, if you guys were to get him, and I think that's really valuable in not only a playoff race, but the month of October as well. So
it would help. I mean, the only problem is that he's on the Yankees are on his no trade list, but I don't think he would have any problem saying no. But I think if he's going to say yes to coming to the Yankees, it would not shock me if they would have to pick up his option, because he does have an option for next year.
With a $6 million buyout, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a $20 million club option.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are trying to stay under the luxury tax. So there's a whole mathematical thing, and, they're trying to save up for Machado or Harper or who knows what. I don't want either. But there's if you're the Yankees, if you can go out and get Hamels, the only thing I say is don't give up the guys that you feel like can help you for years to come in terms of prospects. Don't give up, a Justice Sheffield. Don't give up Andujar. But if you have a chance to give up someone like Frazier, Clint Frazier, someone who is not going to play for you, circle the package around him and go from there.
I agree with that. You got to keep those 2 prospects you just named. You got to hold on to them. And Frazier's blocked right now, and he's a good trade piece. And I think that he's going to have a good career somewhere. But it's probably somewhere Seattle, Texas, Oakland, somewhere like that.
Yeah, in the AL West.
Yeah, exactly.
Far away from New York.
Far away from New York, on a team that likes to just trade things away and big ballparks. He can run around, play well. He's got an attitude on him too. It's a good one.
Oh, he does.
And it doesn't fit the Yankees. And
no.
I think it fits modern day baseball, and I think it fits other teams, and I think other teams we have to have him. I think Cole Hamels makes sense. I think he'll be there. And I agree. I don't think you guys get past the divisional series without help, because like you said, Tanaka came out of nowhere last year. CC was a horse last year. He was like, back when he was on the Brew Crew. And
he was our number 3 last year.
Yeah, he was. I don't think he's going to do that again this year. Tanaka's like 7-2 with like a 5 ERA. So
yeah, it's bad.
How that goes. And then Sevy, but he's not pitching every game, and he had his own postseason struggles last year. That is
he had one, but he had the wild card game. That's understandable. It's a big game, first postseason game. After that, he pitched pretty well in the postseason, so I'm
Yeah.
not worried about him. But I agree with you. CeCe's not going to do it again.